Hello, this is AJ. Here we are again for our next lesson. Now this lesson once again is based on a small excerpt, a small section from the book The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. Again, I highly recommend this book. It's a fantastic book, just a great book. I love it. And this lesson is called adventure, one of my favorite words, in fact, adventure. And in this session, Tim Ferriss talks about what he calls ADD for adults. And now it's a bit of a joke because ADD means attention deficit disorder. You don't need to understand that. But what it means basically is children who cannot concentrate. So usually it's something for children and it's a child who cannot concentrate, and usually this happens in school, right? They can't concentrate, and so the doctors or the school or the teachers, they decide your child has ADD, your child has a problem, he can't concentrate. And now, in my opinion, this is mostly a bullshit diagnosis. This is mostly a bullshit problem because the real problem is bored, because the school sucks. So, in my opinion, ADD is actually quite healthy. Healthy children get ADD because they're bored in school, because the school sucked. So usually a teaching problem, in fact, in my opinion, always 100% the teachers and the school are responsible. You don't blame the child, you don't blame the student, even if it's an adult student. You have to take a responsibility. Anyway, this ADD thing, he's kind of joking about this, but he has a different definition for ADD for adults and not for children. He calls it adventure deficit disorder. Deficit means you don't have enough. Disorder is like a disease. So adult ADD means adults who don't have enough adventure in their life. They don't have enough adventure in their life. And Tim Ferriss believes this is a very serious disease that most adults have. So what he's saying is most adults are damn boring. They're boring. They have no adventure in their life. They have no excitement in their life. And I agree. Most of the adults I have met are boring. There's no adventure in their life. So Tim Ferriss talks about getting more adventure into your life, and not just having exciting goals, but having your entire life be an adventure. It means you're trying new things, you're growing, you're doing difficult things sometimes scary things, but exciting too. So let me read this section and then I'll talk more about it. Adventure deficit disorder, somewhere between college graduation and your second job, a chorus of people enters your internal dialogue in your mind, in your head. And they say, be realistic and stop pretending. Life isn't like the movies. Stop dreaming. If you're 5 years old and you say you want to be an astronaut, your parents tell you that you can be anything you want to be. It's harmless, like telling a child that Santa Claus exists. If you're 25 and you announce that you want to start a new circus, the responses are quite different. People say be realistic. Become a lawyer, become an accountant or a doctor, have babies and raise your babies to repeat same cycle. If you do manage to ignore all the doubters and you start your own business, adventure deficit disorder does not disappear, it just takes a different form. For example, when I started my own company in 2001, it was with a clear goal in mind. My goal was to make $1,000 per day, and my goal was to make $1,000 per day from passive income, to make money whether I was banging my head on a computer or cutting my toenails on the beach. This business was to be an automated source of cash flow. But if you look at my chronology, it is obvious that this didn't happen until a meltdown forced it despite the income. Why? Well, my goal wasn't this specific enough. I had not defined alternative activities that could replace the initial workload. Therefore, I just continued working even though there was no financial need. I needed to feel productive and I had no other activities. This is how most people work until death. Most people think I'll just work until I have $1,000 or $1 million and then I'll do what I want. However, if you don't define the alternative activities, the dollar figure will increase indefinitely so that you can avoid the fear-inducing uncertainty of not knowing what to do next. This is why both employees and entrepreneurs become fat men in red BMWs. Alright, that's quite a little section there. Tim Ferriss has quite strong ideas, as you can see, about life and about working. In his opinion, working for money is a bad thing. You want to work for passion, you want to work for excitement, you want to have a life full of passion and excitement. Your life should not be dominated by trying to get money. But he says what happens is that a lot of times we can work and work, and not because we need money, just because we're afraid to do something else. We don't know what else to do. For example, a lot of people who retire, after they retire, they lose their passion for life. They're very unhappy and that seems crazy. Why are they unhappy? They're free. It's because they don't know what else to do. They have no other dreams. So what he's saying is that we often work a lot just to avoid thinking about our life because we have no imagination. We've lost our imagination. We've lost our dreams, and so we just focus on work all the time. And I can relate to this story. The story sounds similar to my own story because after about 1 year after I started my company, Focus English, after 1 year I was making enough money. I didn't need to work, and yet I was still on the computer all the time. I still do it sometimes on the computer, taking the advertising, taking the sales all the time. Why am I doing this? Because I haven't created enough other activities that are exciting and passionate for me. And now I'm doing that now, but I have to be careful about this. I have to be careful that I don't focus on work just to avoid boredom, just to avoid adventure. I have to make myself be adventurous, and that's why I travel all the time. That's why I spend 3 to 4 months in Southeast Asia. So I break my pattern so I don't just get stuck in this same boring routine doing the same thing all the time. I force myself to break that every year, break it and go someplace different than San Francisco. And so you need to do that too. You have to find some adventure in your life, go someplace new. Find a new crazy goal, something strange and wonderful. Don't get stuck just working. And if you have a job where you're forced to work all the time, get a new job for overseas, find a new job. Even if you start your own company, don't let the company own you. You own the company does not own you. Make sure you create a company that will give you plenty of free time so that you can have adventure in your life, so you can travel where you can learn amazing new things, different things, not for money, just to learn, just to enjoy, just for the challenge and the adventure. So find other activities outside of work. If your work is your only focus in life, and you're going to become boring. That's why I'm taking singing lessons and I'm practicing singing every day. Because I've always wanted to do music and to be a singer. So now I'm doing it and it's exciting. I love it. And that's why I travel to Thailand and to Malaysia, and why I want to go to Vietnam and to South India. And I want to go all over the world because it's an adventure. I don't know what's going to happen. And there's always a surprise every day when I do that. It's not the same boring routine all the time. And so I encourage you to do the exact same thing. Do something crazy, do something different, bring surprise into your life, bring variety into your life, bring adventure into your life. Go find it. If you do that, you find that again, your energy and your love for life are going to increase so much. So I challenge you, go find adventure. Have you been just doing the same thing every day, every week, every year after year? Well, it's never too late. Change it. Break that pattern and just do something crazy and fun and adventurous. You will not regret it. You'll be so happy you did it, and then make it a habit again and again. Always be finding new adventures, breaking your patterns. Anytime you just find yourself doing the same thing again, break it and do it something different. Do something new, even if it's crazy, just do it. Travel to some new place you've never been. And don't just travel, don't plan the vacation so without a guidebook. Try that. You've never been there, no guidebook. Oh my god. That will be fun, that will be surprising and interesting, that will be adventurous. Or start some crazy new project even in your hometown. Go do something totally different that you've never done before. Start breaking those mental patterns And then you get more creativity in your life and more energy. Alright, I will see you next time. I want to hear about your adventures. Again, go to the forums. Tell us your adventures. What crazy, fun, amazing things are you doing now? Or have you decided to do soon? Tell us so you can become excited. And maybe we'll try it too. Maybe we'll join you. Hello, this is AJ. Welcome to the next lesson. This one is called Plateaus. Now this is a subject we talked about a little bit, but I want to talk more about it. This idea of plateaus. A plateau is a flat area that usually is kind of up on top of a mountain. So for example, you go up a big hill and you're going up, and then suddenly it's flat. And it's a big long flat area that's kind of high up. Now a plateau in learning is something that all of you have experienced. Because it's normal when we learn that we learn a lot certainly, and then we have a plateau, a flat spot. It feels like we're not learning, right? We're studying, but we feel like we're not improving. And that happens for a while, and then suddenly, boom, we go up again. We start learning fast, and then another plateau, right? And we're trying to learn, and we're studying, but nothing seems to be happening. Another flat spot. And then, boom, we go up again, and we start learning very fast. And that's the normal process of learning. We have these times where we seem to be improving very quickly, and then we have plateaus where everything feels flat. It feels like nothing's happening, even though we may be working very hard, we may be studying very hard, but it feels like nothing's happening. This happens in sports a lot. So if you're a runner and you're training to run a race, when you first start to run, of course you improve very quickly. We always feel like we're improving fastest in the beginning when we're just starting, because we know nothing, so of course any improvement feels very big. But then later we start getting to an intermediate level, and we hit a plateau, a flat area. It feels like nothing's happening, so we keep trying, we're trying, but it feels like nothing is happening. But if we're patient, if we keep practicing and we keep studying, then boom, we will have another fast period of growing and improving. And again, this happens in sports. It happens in language learning. It happens in all kinds of learning. And a man named George Leonard wrote about this experience in his book Mastery. So the book is Mastery, and the writer George Leonard, and I've mentioned him before, but I'm going to read the section again, and I want to talk about this again because plateaus can be very frustrating. It's one of the difficult things that most English students, and really most students for any subject, encounter, because it can be frustrating. It can make you feel like you're not improving. It can hurt your motivation. So you need to be ready for Plateaus. You need to know how to solve this problem. How should you feel when you have a plateau in your English learning? Because a lot of people get frustrated and then they quit, and so they never become masters. They never have English mastery. They never speak excellent English. So it's a very important topic and I want to talk about it some more. So let me read a little more about Mastery by George Leonard, and then I will talk more about this topic. Here we go. In preparing an Esquire magazine special on the topic of mastery, I decided to see if I could find a series of pictures that would illustrate the idea of mastery. So I went through hundreds of pictures from major photo agencies, and there, scattered among the usual thrill of victory, agony of defeat shots, were just what I was looking for, pictures of athletes that show the idea of mastery. For example, Stephen Scott making the last turn in a mile race, his face serene, his body relaxed, or Greg Louganis at the edge of the diving board, his face in calm concentration, or Peter Whitmore doing floor exercises, his body in an impossibly strenuous position, his face composed, or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar launching his skyhook basketball shot over the head of an opposing player, his face a picture of inner delight. And now Abdul-Jabbar is not a man of small ego, and I'm sure he loved the money, the fame, and the privileges his career brought him, but he loved the skyhook more. Goals, as I have said, are important, but they exist in the future and in the past, beyond the senses. Practice the path of mastery exists only in the present. You can see it, hear it, smell it, feel it. To love the Plateaus is to love the eternal now, to enjoy the inevitable sports of progress and the fruits of accomplishment, then serenely accept the next plateau that reaches beyond them. To love the plateau is to love what is most essential and enduring in your life. Okay, very interesting. So that's Plateaus by George Leonard from his book Mastery. And what he's saying is that it's fun to have a big spurt of learning, right? To learn something very quickly, but we must also learn to enjoy the plateaus. It's good to have goals, but we have to learn to enjoy the plateaus. We have to learn to enjoy the times when we're just studying, just practicing, and we feel like we're not improving quickly. Now some people get frustrated during those times. If you get frustrated, eventually you will quit. You just won't learn fast, because actually during plateaus, research has shown during these plateaus you are actually learning very quickly. Your brain is learning so much new information, but your brain is not ready to show it yet. Inside your brain, many new connections are happening. You're actually learning very quickly, but it's happening subconsciously. During the plateaus, you are learning subconsciously, so you can't really talk about what you've learned, and maybe you can't use it yet. So, for example, with English, during a plateau, you feel like you're not learning, but if you're listening and listening and listening, actually you are learning. Subconsciously, your brain is understanding the grammar more and more. Your brain is understanding more and more vocabulary. Your brain is learning better and better pronunciation, but there's a gap, there's a delay between understanding and using. So, for example, your listening will be improving very fast, but your speaking, nothing's happening. You feel like nothing's happening. I still can't speak well, and you get frustrated. This happens with a lot of students, but the problem is they give up or they go back and they start to use old methods and they try to force themselves to speak, and that only makes you feel you learn more slowly. You have to trust the Plateaus if you use the correct methods, if you follow the effortless English system and you listen and you listen and you listen and you read. Subconsciously, you will be learning very quickly and you'll be understanding more and more and more, but there will be a gap, there will be a delay between your subconscious learning and then your speaking improvement. That's why we have a 6-month guarantee, not a 1-month guarantee, because it takes about 6 months for all of this subconscious learning to suddenly, boom, create better speech. It will happen automatically. It will happen effortlessly. The speaking part happens automatically. You don't need to worry about it. So it's very important to enjoy the process. That's what George Leonard is talking about. You must enjoy the process of learning, not just the final goal. We talked about having very strong, powerful goals, and it's very important. It's equally important to enjoy the process of learning, because if you have a great goal but you hate the process, if you just hate studying, you hate listening, you're not going to succeed, you quit. Every day you have to just love listening to English. You have to enjoy the process every day, every minute, and that's why you change your physiology, and that's why I give you interesting topics, not just boring dialogues, not just boring textbook stuff. I'm trying to give you ideas and information that will be useful and interesting to you. Why? So you will enjoy the process of learning English, so you will focus on the content, so you will focus on the information, not on learning the language, because learning the language happens automatically. If you listen, if you follow our system, you will learn English automatically. You will speak better automatically. So my job as the teacher is to make the process as interesting and fun and enjoyable as possible for you. That's why I yell and scream. That's why I have these crazy stories. That's why I pick topics that are meaningful, that will help you in your life, not just your English, because I know the more you find the content interesting, the more interesting and useful the topics are funnier, more crazy or loud or interesting the stories are, the more you will enjoy the process of learning. You want to listen just because it's fun, just because it's interesting. So that's what you must do. You must find English that's fun and interesting or useful to you, and you've got to enjoy it every day. You must be smiling as you listen to English, as you read English. That's what George Leonard is talking about, enjoying the plateaus, enjoying the process of your life, not just learning English. Everything you do, you've got to learn to enjoy the process, because right now this is your life, not in the future, not in the past. Right now this is your life. So you should be smiling now, you should be standing tall now, and you should be breathing deeply now, you should be enjoying yourself now, you should be interested now, you should be excited now, you should be moving your body now. Now is when the learning happens. Okay, well, I hope you are enjoying this process step by step with effortless English, and I hope when you go and you find reading material that you're finding interesting reading materials, fun, easy novels, not boring textbooks. Please, this is so important. Be sure to enjoy the process of learning every minute, every day. Alright, I will see you next time.